how did Seafair get started 60 years ago? We're going to take a look back at some really cool historical footage. And did you know that the first Seafair parade was on a Saturday afternoon? For many years, there were 2 parades, one during the day and one at night. A trip down memory lane is still ahead.
It's Seafair time.
It all began as a plan to celebrate the boating capital of the world.
There was a group called the Seattle Salts that was working as civic-minded businessmen, knowing that we can promote this city, bring business into our city. The mayor, on the other hand, had a group of individuals that he selected to come up with some type of plan for the 100th anniversary of our city, which was in 1952-1953. So these 2 groups eventually merged and formed Greater Seattle, which we now call Seafair. Within a very, very short period of time, the city itself put on its first festival.
The Seafair was filled with wild boat racing, culture, and community festivals, the famous Aqua Follies, and back then...
Originally there was a grand parade. It was during the day, and it was quite large from the photographs that you see.
There were a number of stars. Bing Crosby, Bob Hope came up a number of times and were part of the festivities.
And what's a parade without clowns, pirates, and of course, a queen?
I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. I darn near fainted. And I thought, all I could think of was, I gotta call my mother and dad. I gotta call my mom and dad.
60 years ago, 18-year-old Barbara Curtis was crowned the first Seafair Queen of the Seas.
Now you might think, what? No hydroplanes, no Blue Angels? That's right. Hydroplanes weren't even up in the thought. In June, July of 1950, Slow-Mo 4 won the Gold Cup. So 1951 was that very, very first hydroplane race in the city.
In the old days, the noise would just travel right up the lake and it came right in the door. And my dad would take my brother and me down to the pits and down to Stan Sayers, and usually on Friday, and we'd play in the water and watch the time trials.
Seattle's love affair with hydroplane racing had begun, and over the next couple of decades, Seafair would add athletic events, evening entertainment, and a little thing called the Milk Carton Derby, all to promote participation.
We call it the biggest race of the world almost, because of how many boats compete in it, and it's really fun to watch the kids. They get so excited.
And as it turns out, the sky wasn't the limit for Seafair.
I think if you ask the generation of today, they would say the signal is that the Blue Angels are here. They hear the Blue Angels, they said, it's on the Freedom, let's go down to the lake, it's all happening.
And it's been happening at Seafair for 60 years.
Seattle Chinatown Dragon, since 1952, a part of Seafair.